So we started studying the Hiranyagarbha Sukta. So in the last class I gave an introduction. So if you have not been able to listen to that, you can catch up on the Google Drive. It's already uploaded. So this is the first mantra we are going to understand. Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patireka Asit Sadadhara Prithivindya Mute Mankasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. So it will be in volume 3, Hiranyagarbha Sukta. See, this is a natural sequence to our study of the Nasadiya Sukta. Because in the Nasadiya Sukta, we were wondering who and what created this universe, and now we have to go to the next phase and say who really created this universe, Kaha. So this Ka, we found that in the last week, this Ka is none other than Paramatman, the absolute one God who cannot have any form, that is, cannot be thought, cannot be having any form, and therefore unreachable by our senses. And it is also very much before the whole creation, so nobody can also say that. That is the nature of Paramatman. And therefore we call that as Ka. Ka or Kaha also means who. So Ka also we said is Vishnu. Ka we said is Brahma. Ka we said is Shiva. And Ka also we said Prajapati. That is the first one who created the entire living beings and became the Lord of the living beings. All of that is encompassed in Ka. So now, in the Hiranyagarbha Sukta, the assertion is made by the sage, who is none other than Hiranyagarbha himself. The Devata is Prajapati, the Rishi is Hiranyagarbha, and I said that the Chandas is Trishtup Chandas of 44 letters. So, meaning of this mantra, Agre Hiranyagarbha Samavartata. Agre means in the beginning. So there was a beginning for this creation. While Ka is beginningless, endless, world has got a beginning. It has to have a beginning because we are seeing the change in the beginning, in the world. And therefore there was a beginning. In the beginning, what was the first thing that came out? The very first manifestation, or the first born, we can also call as the first cause. Because as soon as we say cause, we will say from which cause it came. At some point of time, it has to stop. And that we call as ab initio in Latin. We call it as, the reason why I use the Latin is, this has been thought about even in the Western philosophy. What is the first cause? And here also we call this as the first cause, Agre. The word Agre means it is the first cause. This first cause, this Paramatman, this firstborn, this ab initio is Hiranyagarbha. This Hiranyagarbha Samavartata, he manifested. So you note that it is not born. Samavartata is manifestation. So why Samavartata has been used by this mantra? It is because Hiranyagarbha is not created with any separate material by Paramatman. Paramatman himself itself manifests as Hiranyagarbha. Just as we have seen in the Mundakopanishad, like the silkworm weaves the web with its own saliva, it does not draw matter from outside. Yathornana visrajate grannate cha. Yatha urnanabi means the silkworm. Just as the silkworm from its own saliva weaves the web, it does not bring any outside material like we do when we build the house. So just like that, Parabrahman or Paramatman manifests himself as Hiranyagarbha. So that means the material cause for the creation, and now the immediate interest is the material cause for Hiranyagarbha. In the last class I said Hiranyagarbha's body is none other than the universe. The gross body, the Stula Sharira, is none other than the universe. And the universe is very much perceptible to our senses. Since the universe is perceptible to our senses, it is matter. Anything that can be perceived by senses is matter. And therefore the universe is matter, and this universal matter principle was inherent in Paramatman. And therefore the material cause was inherent in Paramatman. So Hiranyagarbha is endowed with both intelligence and as well as matter to create. Since he was this firstborn, ab initio, was endowed with both intelligent cause and material cause, and not only that, this Hiranyagarbha is self-manifested. So we also call him as Swayambhu. Swayambhu, Paribhu, Swayambhu, Yatha Tathyatorthan Vedadati. Remember, Ishavasya Upanishad. All of these are linked. Just as he created the earlier universe, so he will create again. So the knowledge of how to create the universe was already inherent in Hiranyagarbha. And so he manifests himself, therefore he becomes Swayambhu. As Swayambhu assumes the physical form of the universe called Virat. So therefore he is also the intelligent cause, and hence he is able to create intelligent life. Unless the creator has got intelligence in him, how can he create an intelligent being? And therefore he creates an intelligent being. And the intelligent beings that are created, Jataha, all of them that are created, he also has to become the Lord. And therefore the mantra says, Bhutasya Jataha Patihi, Lord of all the sentient beings that is created. See, we are driving a argument that there is God, and that God is intelligent, and that God is the Lord. And then, not only that, Ekaha Asit was the only one. There cannot be two Lords. So why emphasize Ekaha? It is also to create the later philosophical thought, Nadvitiyosti Kaschite. There cannot be a second. If you just say one, if you just mention that he was the one, there might have been another in the past who died, and therefore he is the only one. There could be another in the future. When this entity dies, that person will occupy their place. That argument will be presented. And therefore, to refute that argument, the mantra says, Ekah Patihi Asit. There cannot be a second. Nadvitiyosti Kaschit. This also gives the Hiranyagarbha another attribute, that it is infinite, it is deathless. It is only when there is death there can be one more to replace. And therefore Ishvara is all the time there, all the time he will be there. There is no death for Ishvara. So much is embedded in one phrase, Ekaha Prativeka Asit. And then Saha Prithivim Uta Dhyam Dadhara. Saha, this Hiranyagarbha, Prithvi is earth, Dhyam means sky. Both of them he upholds Dadhara. So we need not study Veda Mantra to say that there is a one-to-one relationship between earth and the sky. So what is the hidden meaning here? The hidden meaning here is matter and spirit are held together. Prithvi means matter. Prithvi means body. Dhyam means spirit. Dhyam means mind. Only when physical body and the mind are in unison, when the mind is functioning in tandem with the body, then only we can say it is a living being. So who is making sure that my body and my mind are together? There must be something which is constantly holding. Otherwise, what is our experience? All coming together, some yoga, will always end in viyoga. What is our everyday experience? Every association will definitely end in dissociation. Let us be very clear in our mind. Because once we are very clear in our mind, there will be no dukkha. So therefore, samyoga viyogatmakam prapanchaha. But is this samyoga viyoga applies to Hiranyagarbha also? The answer is no, because Hiranyagarbha is a unique person, Paramapurusha, a unique person who will always make sure that matter and mind, existing matter and mind, is always held together. And therefore he says, Prithivim Dhyam. And therefore what is the principle and what is the effect? The principle is he is the one who creates everything. The principle is that he is the Lord of everything. The principle is he is the one and one only. And what is the effect? The most important effect is he keeps matter and spirit together. And therefore, he is worthy of our prayer. So now, we make another important establishment that why we should pray. It is because he is putting together. So, who is this Kaha? To say who, what, when, where, we need three entities. You must know the name, Nama. Secondly, you must know what is the Rupa. And thirdly, you must know what is the Dharma or Karma. Karma is none other than Dharma. Karma means activity, Dharma means its tendency, potentiality. So either action is in potentiality or is in execution. All these three entities, that is Nama, Rupa and Karma, make up Kaha. To that Kaha, I offer my oblations. So what is the Nama? Nama is Hiranyagarbha. What is the Rupa? Prithvi, Dhyam. What is the Karma? Dharana, to uphold. Therefore, this brings us a very important psychological and philosophical statement to say that if we invest our prayers and our emotions in this Hiranyagarbha, then it will be stable. Any other emotional investment in anything else is shaky. And therefore the only refuge for us is Ishvara. So Om Namah Shivaya is the mantra. Nobody else, nothing else can give us support. That we have to make it very clear with this mantra. So what is the summary? The summary is, in the beginning, Hiranyagarbha manifested. Having manifested, was a sole Lord of all beings, animate and inanimate. So though we normally use Bhuta in terms of sentient beings, here we have to take it to mean all creation, because Bhuta comes from the Sanskrit root Bhu Sattayam Vachi, means a word, an articulation which refers to anything that exists. We use the Bhu and all the pratyayas and the karakas to indicate existence. So therefore Bhuta includes also the inanimate objects. So therefore the one more subtext is there in this. Sadadhara prithivindhyamute mam. If something has to be upheld, if this building has to be stable, it is upheld by the base, by the foundation. Can the foundation say, now I have made the building stand upright and now I will walk away? So therefore, can this Prajapati who creates the universe, like the carpenter who made your table, become irrelevant after creation? Can he simply say, now that I have created an organism, now I have created all the physical laws, laws of motion, biological laws, all these laws I have created and I switched on, and there is the energy also, Surya is coming and giving the energy, now I will walk out. Can he say that? For that, this is saying, Sadadhara Prithivim, Sadadhara kana Sada Adhara Prithivim, all the time he gave a support for these two, and therefore Prajapati is not an irrelevant after creation like a goldsmith or a carpenter. His support is the only cause for existence. And therefore, the key word here is Dadhara. Always, if you want to understand Sanskrit, catch the verb. If you catch the verb, most of the time you will understand the subject. So, Dadhara is the key word. So now, there is an assertion. What is the assertion? Hiranyagarbha samavartata agre. Hiranyagarbha is the firstborn, the first principle. It is ab initio. An assertion is made. In any discussion, without supplying proof and argumentation, how can you make an assertion? But what is the technique used here? No room for discussion. Simply an assertion is made. Why is that? It is because it is the first principle. Now, what is first principle? What is the definition of first principle? A basic proposition that cannot be deduced from any other assumption. It's called first principle. So thus we have Kaha Prajapatihi Agre Samavartata. So what is the first principle? First principle is Hiranyagarbha was manifested. It's an axiomatic statement. And therefore no argumentation, no proof is accorded. It is just given to us. How can I accept this emphasis? It is because, is my body mind not in unison? Yes. If the body and mind is in unison, how can the two things be in unison unless bound by something? Always, the relationship between two things is because there is an entity which is binding them. Father, son. What is binding him? Fatherhood and sonhood. That is binding. What is the binding here? We don't know. Therefore, but we have to listen to the Rishi who says it is Hiranyagarbha who is holding on to these two. So this is an axiom. This is the first principle. Hiranyagarbha is the firstborn. Ishavasyamidam sarvam. Everything is surrounded, encompassed by Isha, Ishvara, assertion. In other words, Ishvara is a well-established principle. It does not permit any argumentation. It does not permit any digression also, because whichever scripture you see. Veda mantra, it says he is the one. Ishavasya Upanishad Veda Mantra says Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. Bhagavad Gita says Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Tishtati. Do you see in Bhagavad Gita any argumentation as to why? You don't see any argumentation. Simply Krishna makes a statement. Ishvara is in your heart. That's it. And Arjuna doesn't ask for approval either in the scripture. Why is it? Because he had understood first principle. Whoever understands first principle will not get further doubts. Because if you don't believe in the first principle, the whole world is full of doubts only. You will never be able to clear your doubts. That's why Ramanujacharya also said the first principle for you is Rakshishyati iti Vishwasaha. Have perfect confidence that Ishvara will protect you. If we don't have that confidence that Ishvara will protect you, and then you come and say that I am sad, I am worried, I am unhappy, who can help? Everybody will say that pray to God. And you say I have no faith in God. Then God save you. That's all the reply you can give. So here, somewhere all doubts has to be stopped at one point. So this is the leap that happens between Nasadaya Sukta and Hiranyagarbha Sukta. In Nasadaya Sukta, what happens? It raises doubt. Ko Adha Veda, who knows this? Who is this? Asya Adhyakshaha. Who is the Adhyaksha? Who is the Lord of all these things? When there was no existence or non-existence, no Satan or what was there? And who knew this? Probably was there a Adhyaksha? And did he know or not? And no Sukta tries to resolve that. So we jump to Hiranyagarbha Sukta, and Hiranyagarbha Sukta simply says, all these series of doubts, don't worry about it. When you discover the one unifying self-existence cause called Hiranyagarbha Prajapati Arkaha, which has been given to us by the sage Hiranyagarbha himself, then there is no use in asking the same question again. And therefore you suspend everything settled with the ab initio issue. Settle down that Ishvara is there. So this also you will see it. So we saw the form. Form is universe. So Nama is there. Rupa is that of the universe. What about the karma of this Ishvara? He says, Bhutasya Jataha Patihi. He created all these things. Now, if you start asking how and why, in the axiomatic statement, how and why also has to dissolve. And hence, we will also see in Bhagavad Gita 4, chapter 4, verse number 9, it simply says, Janma karma cha divyam. Janma karma cha me divyam iti tattvashaha vetha. I slightly modified the verb. Vetha means you know. May you know. Janma karma cha me divyam. My manifestation as Hiranyagarbha and what I do is divyam. That means the first principle's origin and action is divyam. Divyam here means transcendental. Don't translate this as a divine. That means it is beyond our comprehension. Something that is beyond our comprehension can only be taught to us by the sage, by the rishi, who can visualize this in his meditation. So suppose I want to discover this, the only way is for me to become such a rishi. Two choices. Either you wait and you become the such a rishi, or accept the rishi vakya as pramanam. accept the saying of the Rishi as proof. So therefore this Kaha, this Paramatman, Hiranyagarbha, who is Prajapati. So there is, let us take these important letters, Ka or Kaha. Then Patihi. A synonym for Patihi is Ishaha. Isha also means Lord Patihi. Okay. So what does he do? Supports. Dadhara, supports. Why does he support? So that the universe exists. Vartayati. Vartayati is a Sanskrit term for it exists. Vartayate means makes it move. See, the beauty of Sanskrit is you just change the Atmanepada, Parasmanepada, things will start becoming different. He makes it move. So, Ka, this Kaha, and the Isha, who is the Lord. What is the Sandhi now? Kaha plus Isha, what happens? No, Ka plus E, Aha, A plus E, what will become? It will become A. A plus E becomes A. So Ka plus E became K. Ka plus Isha became Kesha. Vartayate, you take the first letter, Va, it became Keshava. So what is the meaning of Keshava? Keshava is none other than the first principle. And therefore, in the 24 Namavali we say Keshavaya Namaha, Narayana Namaha. The first letter of Gayatri Mantra, Ta, which means Tat. Tat means what? Vyapnoti, that which pervades everything. That is now called Keshava. So this, therefore, Keshava, the Keshava is this first principle, is the Ta of the Gayatri Mantra, and Kanakadasa used his signature as Adi Keshava. So what did Kanakadasa knew in choosing Keshava, and to insist that it is the first principle, he took his signature as Adi Keshava. So much is there in this mantra.